And good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. We're on and we are streaming. Welcome, everyone, whether it's morning or afternoon, whatever time you're watching this video. Guys, listen, so we're going to be talking about the population growth in the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom has seen the biggest population explosion in 75 years, and this is mostly down to immigration. Now, I'm going to put these things together, how population growth is going to lead to 15-minute cities, how 15-minute cities are going to lead to a dystopian state, and ultimately a United States takeover of the United Kingdom. Now, all these things are here. They're all related. Not many people were talking about this yesterday because people were all most people were talking about the digital ID. All these things are true. Just first of all, before we start, I think it's quite funny. Somebody fact check Keir Starmer. On X, how, in fact, let me get this up. While I'm talking, I'll do this. So on X, if you put a post that's got fake news on it or something that's not didactically correct, the algorithm underneath will correct you. So Keir Starmer yesterday, he posted something like, I'll tell you exactly what he posted. So yesterday, Keir Starmer on his not parody, Keir Starmer on his X yesterday, he posted, not that one. Oh, I think he's removed it. Yeah, he's removed it. No, right, okay, yeah. So he's not removed it. So Keir Starmer yesterday posted, our immigration system needs to be fair. That's why we are introducing digital ID. If you don't have it, you can't work here. And then the community notice underneath has put, current UK legislation requires all employers to verify the employee's right to work. The proposed digital ID does not enhance compliance. It also fails to address illegal workers or enhance their detection beyond the existing legislation. I just thought that just really tickled me, guys. That really tickled me. But yeah, we're going to be talking today right now. And listen, guys, before we get on with this, this is going to be a short one because I've got quite a lot of errands to run. I need to do the last bit of gardening before I put the lawnmower away. Well, I think I'm going to do the last bit of lawn mowing. I may have to do it one more time, but I'm going to get that done today. So this year, well, the year 2024, so I guess 23-24. sees the UK, the United Kingdom, have a record spike in population. The second largest annual increase since late 1940s, and England saw a faster increase than the rest of the UK. Net international migration, which is the difference between people moving into the country and leaving, accounted for 98% of the UK's overall population growth. So there we have it, guys. We are getting a lot more people in the United Kingdom. Now, what does this mean? Oh, but Sean, they're just draining on resources. Okay, right. If it's the plan to bring in universal basic income, then it all makes sense, doesn't it? It all makes sense if the plan is to bring in universal basic income. Because if there's more people in the country to give universal basic income, then there's more people to be spending that universal basic income. Then the economy, which is what this is all about, guys, this is all about money. Everything's not always about money. But in this circumstance, it is about money. If you follow this rabbit hole deeper and deeper and deeper, it's not about money. I'm not going to go into that, but just for this, guys, we're going to talk. It is going to be about money. So, if you imagine now you break the United Kingdom, you take away people's ability to make their own money, you make it almost impossible for people to work, you close small businesses down. You only have big businesses that are government because they're compliant and your mates are running them. Then where does that leave you? That leaves you with a lot of people. And remember, guys, artificial intelligence has come in, and artificial intelligence will be taking a lot of jobs. So, that's where we're heading right now. And this population growth, this population explosion, and I would speculate that next year, we're going to get a bigger increase as well. Because don't forget, guys, all right, this is not just I don't know. From these statistics, these are official statistics from the Office of National Statistics. Now, I don't know if people who are living in hotels are on these statistics. I don't know if people who have been put into private rented houses, temporary accommodation, probably going to be there for the rest of their lives. I don't know if those people are. I don't know if those people are put onto the go on. I don't know if those people are put onto that onto this list or not. I guess I could look deeper into it, but I'm just going to go with this article. Nigel Henretti, sorry, from the Office of National Statistics says the UK population has increased each year since mid-1982. The net international migration continues to be the main driver of this growth, continuing the long-term trend seen since the turn of the century. The rate of population increase has been higher in recent years, and the rise since seen in year to mid-2024, so mid-23 to mid-24, represents the second largest annual increase in numerical terms over 75 years. And I think the last numerical terms, I think that will have been after the Second World War, when people were importing people, when Britain imported a lot of people to help rebuild Britain. Net migration stood at 738,000 and was the largest contributing factor to overall population growth. Another factor, albeit a fraction, tiny fraction, there was slightly more births than deaths. And guys, look, we all know if you live in the United Kingdom, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this, I'm just giving you the facts here. I'll read that again and then I'll tell you what I was going to say. Another factor, almost, albeit a fraction, is that there were slightly more births than deaths this year in the United Kingdom. So we know that the most popular name among newborn children, boys in the United Kingdom, is Mohammed. So we know that there are more Mohammeds being born than anyone else. That is fact, guys. And whether you agree, whether you want to jump into that and give ideas on why, it doesn't really matter. That's the fact. The number of births in the UK stood at 622,000 compared to 644,000, which added 16,000 to the almost 750,000 total. So there we have it, guys. That's the population expansion at the moment. It is being fueled by migration. I would say those numbers are not slightly off. I would say those numbers are off, because I don't think that brings into consideration the people we've got living in hotels, because you can't class them as a migrant because they've not come here legally, so they're just like in limbo. But don't worry, guys. As soon as Keir Starmer gets his digitalization, they will all become legal. Right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I'm on now. We're talking about the explosion of people in the United Kingdom, how this is going to be leading to 15-minute cities, a dystopian state, and total control over what we eat, what we see, who we look at, whether we smile, whether we don't smile. Sean, you've not been smiling enough today. Oh, God. Sean, you're smiling too much. Oh, God, I'm smiling too much. Sean, we don't like the way you're smiling. We think you're being sarcastic. We're turning your money off. Oh, man. But we're on, guys. I am on a little bit earlier. Now, the reason for that is I've got to run some errands. So this morning's live stream is going to be a little bit shorter. Do you guys want to help me? Like, should I do a stream doing the garden? Should I do a garden stream when I'm cutting the grass? You guys can come around with me on the lawnmower. I don't know how that would work. I'll try. We'll try and do that. I may have to. I don't know. We'll try and do that. See how that works out. Right, I'm going to get the comments, guys. I'm going to get the comments. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're on, can you do me those favors? Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notifications, all those things that help this channel grow. Like I just said, I'm on a little bit early. The live stream is going to be a little bit short. I've got lots to do today. I've got to cut the grass. I think it's going to be the last weekend before the weather really changes, and I need to get that grass cut. April Lee is saying, morning all, morning to you, April. So is Natalie. UK Veterans is saying, I know who's going to do the Brit card. Tell us, UK Veterans, tell us who's going to do the Brit card. Is it Palantir? Is it Circle? Was it one of Keir Starmer's draconian mates? I don't know, maybe all of the above. Jules is saying, good morning. Timsky is saying Australia wanting UK citizens to migrate to work, not too difficult to go. Yeah, I mean, I think, look, guys, okay, I've traveled. What's going on this phone? Oh, it's the group chat. Hang on. Let me see how my message right. And I also have to do work as well. So, oh, right. There's 9 messages on the group chat. Give me a second. There's translations coming in. You know, I've lived in lots of places. I've lived in Baghdad. I spent 5 years in Baghdad. I love, you know, I like Middle Eastern culture. You know, I like that way of life. I've lived in Eastern Europe. I like living in different cultures and being part of their culture. I wouldn't have the audacity to go to another country and say, give me free stuff. I know I don't want to work. I just want free stuff. Unfortunately, that's where we are right now, guys. So, you know, Timsky is saying about Australia wanting UK citizens to migrate. I mean, we sent all our criminals, didn't we? And now everybody's fleeing there. We do have this mass influx of people at the moment, and you know, there are certain countries in the world. There are certain countries in the world which you could say are less developed. Now, there's a reason they're less developed. And it's not got anything to do with Britain going over there and taking their minerals or Britain being a cop. No, it's got nothing to do with that. I'll let you guess why are some countries less developed than others? If everybody's equal, you know, and, you know, we're all of equal intelligence and we're all of equal capacity, and men are women and men can grow cervixes, you know, like if we're all equal, why are some countries not as developed as others? Like, why is that? You know, like, why is that? Why is it that some African nations with all the resources, the minerals, the natural resources, like Nigeria, for example. Nigeria is a perfect example. Why is here's one for you guys. Why is Nigeria not the Dubai of Africa? Like, there's a simple question, guys. Why is Nigeria not the Dubai of Africa? Right, let me get these comments, guys. Sorry. Martin Quinn, Timsky saying morning. So silence. Jules is saying morning. Google is saying, Sean, do a poll. A poll on what? Timsky is saying, what's your opinion if you have a box of cash and they do this income thing? I don't know what that means, Timsky. If you have a box of cash and they do this income thing, I don't know what that means. What's your opinion if you have a box? Oh, well, I need more context, Timsky. Timsky's saying, what's your opinion if you have a box of cash? I'm just thinking, actually, we've got a money box in the house. We need to take it to like Asda or whatever it is with that machine that gives you like, it like sorts it all out for you. I don't know, Timsky. I don't know. Coral Reef, and he's saying, morning, mate. Hope you're good. I am indeed. Coral Reef, and he's saying, Circo. I'm assuming. No, Timsky, I got your message about the cash. Googly saying Moldova bans pro-Russian parties ahead of Sunday's election. Yeah, there's been a lot of this in Europe. People, I don't know how I feel about it, guys. I really don't. I don't think you should ban any political party. I think it's a dangerous path to tread. So can you imagine now if, for example, let's put this into context. Can you imagine if somebody banned before the next election, and let's not pretend this couldn't happen in the United Kingdom. So Google here is saying Moldova is banning pro-Russian parties ahead of Sunday's election. Let's just put this into context. If this was the United Kingdom, right? Britain bans reform from standing in the next election. Like, you know, can you imagine that? Let's not pretend this couldn't happen here, guys. You know, I mean, if you were the Labour Party, and I'm not, but if you was in the Labour Party and you was going to lose that election, you know, if you're going into a fight and you know you're going to lose, it makes no sense having that fight. Like, you can't win that fight. It makes no sense getting into that. You know, it makes no sense putting your gloves on. You're going to lose. So the best thing to do is change your opponent. Priv Caro is saying, morning everyone, happy Saturday. Yeah, happy Saturday. Right, okay, right. Timsky is saying, so Timsky is saying, if they stop cash and you have universal income, right? Okay, so I don't know how this would work. I could only speculate that there would be a time and they would say, right, everyone, I don't know, the beginning of next month or the 1st of April, 2026 or whatever, cash will no longer, and I'm speculating here, guys, and just how this could potentially work. Like they do with old banknotes, you know, they would say, right, these are the, you know, cash is going to be legal tender until the 1st of April or something. And then after the 1st of April, you've got 3 months to take all your cash into a bank and get that changed into, you know, put into your bank account or something. You know, it would be very easy to do. You know, they do it quite often in the UK when they introduce new banknotes. Sorry, my friends just messaged me there. I said, how do you think I'd be as the new James Bond? He said, get your application in, mate. Right, I'm going to jump over to the reality check. Oh, reality checks here is throwing some questions out, guys, some comments out. So reality checker 13 is saying, and this is over on YouTube. Oh, welcome everyone, welcome ladies and gentlemen. I know I'm on a little bit early this morning, and I am going to cut this relatively short, so I may not be able to get all the questions like and comments like I normally do. But I think I'm going to be back on later, and I'll try and get like, I don't know, I'll try and do a live stream while I'm in the garden, and I'll get as much, I'll do as much as I can. I don't know how that's going to work. I think I can make it work. I'm pretty confident I can, but we'll have to wait until later on. Anyway, so reality check over on YouTube is saying, I saw a Bitcoin UK channel talking about leaving the UK for Thailand, and many of you are. You feel entitled as white people to go wherever, but don't want anyone in your nations. I think that's fair as well. You know, I don't think the color of people's skin matters. But what I would say to that reality check is, as you call it, you know, you're. I mean, I'm just reading your comment there. You're saying you feel entitled as white people. I would say Europeans, because it's, you know, it doesn't really matter the color of your skin. It's like, you know, it's like your culture and what you believe in. I would say Western Europeans should be entitled to go wherever they want. I mean, like, look what happens when Western Europeans go places. They get running water, electricity, sanitation, medicine. That's the reality. You know, and when other people, and, you know, I don't know what you're insinuating there, but when other people from other nations or other places, like, there's some places in the United Kingdom now that's like the third world, and they're massive shitholes, mate. So, you know, when Europeans go places, they lift them up. When other people go places, they bring them down, and, you know, that's just like the reality. You know, if there's a caveat to that, if there's a country, you know what, reality checks. If there's a country that Europeans have gone to and they've not brought it up, let me know. Equally, if there's a country that non-Europeans, and I mean like anybody that's not European now, and I will say Americans as well with this, because Americans do turn places into, the Americans do drive places down pretty quickly. But you know what? They're just Europeans, not just European, with a little less Europe in them. And then Reality Check is saying, no, there's no invasion. You are a minority as white people. Deal with it. Stay at home or STFU when the majority come to you. Okay. Well, he's saying, we're a minority, white people. Well, he's saying you are a minority as white people. Deal with it. Yeah, I mean, I would say white people have always been a minority, but the problem is, like, again, I don't want to use the slur white people. I'd rather use like European. Kind of doesn't matter. Like, humans are a minority to ants. Humans are still in control of ants because ants don't have the intelligence or the capacity to overthrow humans. And I'm not insinuating anybody's like an ant. I'm just saying, being a minority doesn't mean you're not the ruling class. I mean, like the politicians, they're a minority, but they're still the ruling class, right? So I don't know where you're going with that, Reality Checks. But look, guys, don't tell me to STFU. I'm assuming that's a slur. Your government lied to you. Deal with your corrupt government bringing in slave digital systems for you. Well, thank you for your comments, Reality Checks. Listen, guys, I welcome anyone with a diverse opinion. I do. I'll always be kind and polite. Just remember, guys, all right, if you're going to call me out or you think I'm lying about something, just articulate it well, all right? Articulate it well. Don't be rude, don't swear, and just, be nice. Oh, hang on a minute. Reality Checks is saying, we get running water. Reality Checks, I don't know who you are. Okay, so Reality Checks, right? Okay, this is very difficult. Okay, right. I'm having a conversation here with somebody called Reality Checks who's throwing racial slurs at me. He's saying, we get running water. Okay, Reality Checks, who do you mean by we? Like, when you say we, I don't know what that means. Like, who, like, you're going to have to help me out here, buddy. You're really going to have to help me out. You don't see, I don't know who you mean by we. If you give me specifics, I can respond to this, but saying we and you and white, I don't know what that means. I'm so, I really want to converse. You've been wandering the earth for centuries. I'm only 42. I've not been wandering the earth for centuries at all. And you still have no running water. What? Right. Okay. Right. It's getting very difficult now. Very difficult now. Animals could never be like you Europeans. I know animals could never be like us Europeans. Look, again, I'm just going to throw this out there. When a lion eats a giraffe, or, when somebody's injured, do you see animals running towards, like, do you see another wildebeest running towards another wildebeest and doing CPR? Do you see wildebeest getting their little medical bag on and running out there and like putting a bandage on their arm or giving them wildebeest medicine? No, animals leave their dead. Human, Europeans definitely don't do that. So I'm just trying to get in. Racial slurs, ? Read the end of the sentence. I'm not European. Let's put it that way. Reality Checks. Right. We've got this guy over on YouTube. I don't know. I'm assuming he's a guy. Racial slurs. Yes, racial slurs. Right. Let me just read back one of your comments, mate. And it's fine. I've got thick skin. Right. So here it is. The first message you put, mate. So this is the first message you put, and it's massively racist. This message you put is racist. I'm gonna read it, and then I'm gonna change the word, all right, and see what you think. All right. I saw a Bitcoin, and this is what you put. This is the message you put. It's massively racist. You wrote, I saw a Bitcoin UK channel talking about leaving the UK for Thailand, and many of you are. You feel you are entitled as white people to go everywhere, but don't want anyone in your nations. So let me just change that. Right? I would never say this. I'm just going to change one word in that and see if you think see if you feel offended. You feel you feel entitled as black people to go anywhere you want. Did that bit seem racist when I changed that word from white to black? Or doesn't it, or is it not racist because you use the word white? It was massively racist, mate. Honestly, I mean no disrespect. I genuinely mean no disrespect to you. You probably don't understand that you're racist. You just probably don't understand that you're racist. It doesn't matter, you know. I'm fine with it. And then you go on and talk about, you know, there is no invasion. You are a minority as white people. Deal with it. Stay at home or shut the fuck up. Again, mate, you're being massively racist. I'm not, you know, I'm not writing this stuff. I'm giving you guys facts. You know, I'm real facts. All right. So let's get back down to your. So I do want to get all your comments. We've done the animal comments. Racial slurs. Yes, mate. You know, I've just pinned this comment over. Yes, mate. You're giving me massive racial slurs. You're a massive racist. Super racist. Using the term white is not a racial slur, actually. Oh, right. But if you use it in a negative term, in the context that you white people feel entitled to go wherever you want, that kind of is. Because if I use the word blacks interchangeable with white, that would mean, you know, that would be massively racist. And I would never do that. Where is he? Where's he gone? Where's he gone? I think he's gone now. No, it did not. Now this guy is actually saying that he didn't write, even though I've just like pinned his comment and showed everyone. He's saying, no, I didn't say that. I don't know reality checks. I think reality check needs a reality check. Your far right have said it, and it has been deemed not racist by your government. If it was, they would have all been arrested. I don't know what you mean. Honestly, look, guys, reality checks. I'll be back on later, and I welcome you to come back on as well. I'm just struggling. You know, I'm just struggling to understand what you're getting at here. You know, you're saying that Europeans. Let me just put this out there as well. You know, something I've said previously. One of the problems we have in the world is that different groups, you know, we're trying to get rid of diversity. You know, and I don't want to. Right, we're trying to get rid of diversity. So if you go to Syria and it's full of Syrians and they have Syrian culture, it's fine, because, you know, that's fine. You expect that. If you go to, I don't know, Kenya, and you're dancing around with the Maasais and, like, you know, having like African barbecues. I mean, African barbecues, guys, are beautiful. That's fine. The problem is we're not as a planet, as the world. What we're not doing is we're not using that diversity. What we're trying to do is we're trying to say diversity is mixing everything up so nothing makes sense anymore. You know, European culture is to expand. European culture is to lead the world. That's the reality, guys. All right. You know, Europeans founded everywhere, and you know, Britain did a lot of that founding themselves. So when we're talking about expansion, like, what do you want to do? Do you not want to be expansionist? Do you not want a better quality of life for yourself? And, you know, I don't know, like, and I'm not meaning this to anyone, but if we didn't have that expansionist, if humans did, Europeans, because they lead this, if Europeans didn't have that expansionist mentality, literally the whole world right now would still be foraging for nuts and berries, and we'd be wearing loincloths. It'd be crazy. We'd be fighting over each other over apple trees and stuff. That European culture, that European mindset to expand, to develop, to grow, that's what's driven humanity. It really has, guys. There's no way around that. Now, again, I can see the chat's going crazy, and I will try and get Reality's questions, because anyway, I will try and get them, because I hope I can bring him round, and I will be able to bring him back round with facts and figures and logic. We need to go into space. We absolutely need to go into space, guys. Like 100%. We need to stop this messing about on planet Earth. Europeans need to start building spaceships and going into space. We can then colonize the moon, colonize Mars, colonize Venus, and start expanding on out in the universe. And then, other nations can follow in our footsteps as they do. America's a prime example of that. Europeans went over to America. They settled America, sorted it all out. And then other people came over, and other people can have that. That's the reality. So I do think that needs to happen sooner rather than later. Okay, Reality's back. He's saying, that's just facts. You feel entitled. Okay, so you call people who come to your nation immigrants, and when you go to expats. Okay, look, guys. So I'll read his comment. That's just facts. You feel entitled. So so just as a quick caveat to this, the people that are coming over on the boats and demanding 3 meals a day, demanding, hotel rooms and have a better quality of life than the people who live in this country, do they feel entitled? Do they feel entitled? When there's people in this country who are paying for that, who can't afford the stuff themselves. I don't know. I don't know how entitled you think that, like, a white nanan who's in a pensioning age, I don't know how entitled you think she is. So I don't accept that at all. Not even remotely. You call people who come to your nation immigrants. That's the word for it. That is the word. That is literally the word for it. That is the word for when you go to another country and you live there. You are an immigrant. You can be part of an expat community. You can be part of a diaspora, but that's the word for it. So, like, you're not arguing with me now, mate. You're literally arguing with the Oxford Dictionary. If you've got a problem with the words like immigration, immigrant, I didn't make that word up, brother. I'm sorry if you feel I did. I didn't make that word up. You need to go and take that up with the like Oxford Cambridge Dictionary or something. I don't even know how. Like, this is a level, and I'm trying to be polite with you, buddy. Complaining about a word and basing your argument that you call people that come to your nation immigrants. Like, that is the word. That is the word. You know what? In Spanish, they call them gringos. So, like, what does that mean? Yeah, you're racist because you call people gringos. Whoa, that's the language. That is the language that they use. Like, honestly, mate, that is the word for it. I've got nothing to do with that. I don't think anybody born now invented the word immigrant. Oh, now you don't know what I mean. I don't. Okay, right. Let me. Right, where's he? I think he's got. Right. Okay. He's talking to Freddie. You are from the Caucasus Mountains. That is your European home. Go back there. Shall I take all, like, okay, so what he's saying here is, like, all Europeans are allegedly from the Caucasus Mountains. So if I go back there, can I, like, look, I was never born in the Caucasus Mountains of I wasn't born in any European mountains, but again, this is a massive racial slur. Look, this is what Reality Checks is saying. You are from the Caucasus Mountains. That's your European home. Go back there. If I said to someone, I don't know, like name your country, name a third world country. If I said to somebody, that's your home, go back there, you know, would that be racist? Listen, don't worry about it, reality checks. You can be as covertly racist as you want with me, buddy. I've got a thick skin. And you know what? I'd probably get on with you. I get on with everyone. I would probably get on with you if we ever met. You know, we'd have a drink together, and I just calm everything down, and I'd just, you know, give you some truths. So let's just go with this then, hypothetically. Let's just go with this hypothetically, guys. Okay. So what this guy Reality Checks is saying is, you are from the Caucasus Mountains. That is your European home. Go back there. Okay. Can I take all my stuff with me? Can I take all my stuff with me? Medicine, vehicles, internal combustion engines, electricity, space travel, jet engines, flying up there, airplanes. Can I take all that, like, or can I take all that European stuff with me? And, like, you know, modern architecture, all the beautiful buildings, and, like, you know, like, what would be left in the world if you took European influence out of the world? Well, honestly, if you took European influence out of the world, people would still be fighting for apple trees and, like, nuts and berries and agriculture. Like, have you seen? I do think this is quite funny, actually. In South Africa, they kicked all the white farmers off the farms, and then they gave those farms back to, and then they gave those farms back to the native South Africans. Guess what happened? Guess what happened, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah, they didn't have a fruitful yield that year. Let me just tell you that. So, yeah, I don't know, Reality Checks. I would be listen, and Reality Checks, let me just throw this out there. I think, and I'm going to be pushing for a mass exodus of Western culture to Antarctica. And I'm happy to say, listen, guys, you've got the world now. Take the world. You've got it. Do what you want. You know, us Europeans have gone. You guys do what you want. Just as a quick question mark, how did that happen how did it work out in Haiti? You know, in Haiti, when all the Europeans left, like, how did that work out? Like, what was it about Haiti? How was Haiti gone? I don't know. I don't know, guys. Maybe Haiti is an maybe Haiti maybe Haiti's turned into, like, this metropolis, this beautiful metropolis, or maybe it's just turned into a shithole. Right, Reality Checks. Right, Reality Checks is not talking to me now. Right, okay. You don't need all your stuff. Your builders, remember, allegedly everywhere you go, great, apparently. Right, okay, so what he's saying is, so what this guy Reality Checks is saying, get back to Europe, but leave all your stuff. We don't want you here. You're disgusting. Oh, I hate you. I hate you. Look what you've done to this country. You've given us medicine, roads, plumbing, agriculture, sanitation, flying aircraft, space travel. Get out. Get out. No, leave that stuff. Leave that stuff. No, leave that stuff. We want that stuff. Look, you know, and again, I don't know where you're from, Reality Checks, but if you look at Afghanistan, when the British and Americans left in 2001, they left all the stuff behind. It got pilfered and destroyed within 20. I don't mean like physically destroyed. People robbed it within 24 hours. That happened, you know, it just got destroyed, and that stuff now is broken. So, I mean, that would be obviously we can't do a real world side-by-side analysis, but a good side-by-side analysis would be to look at the equipment, the infrastructure, the capacity that was left in place in Afghanistan in 2001 when the British and Americans left. And again, like, you know, when the British and Americans were leaving, and people were grabbing onto the wheels like, no, don't leave, please. Europeans, don't leave, and passing their babies over the fence. Was that because they were looking forward to being empowered with local culture? Or was it because they were shit scared and they were like, we don't want this. We don't want this. I don't know. I don't know which one of those it is. France is getting its wake-up call in Africa. Scots and Welsh are coming out of you Brits. I don't know what that means again. He's just saying, and France and Africa are getting and France is getting a wake-up call in Africa. Now, the problem with France in Africa, when France went to colonize, the French concentrated on taking land, whereas the British concentrated on taking entry points. A perfect example of this is Gibraltar. Gibraltar is the gateway to the Mediterranean. Britain can close the Mediterranean whenever they want. Britain can close the Mediterranean. Or you want to bring your ships through here? Okay, you've got to pay tax. You know, that's the reality. All right. The Falkland Islands as well, you know, the Falkland Islands controls Antarctica, that controls huge resources. Whereas the French, they didn't, and what the French did, they just tried to cover landmass. And the problem with covering landmass is it's expensive. You need a lot of resources to cover that mass. It's very difficult. Whereas the British concentrated on smaller access points that are easy to maintain, easy to administer, and you can work off that. So the French are getting the French are struggling in Africa. Scots and Welsh are coming out of you Brits. I don't know what that means, but okay. Right, listen, guys, I am gonna have to close this down now. I really am gonna have to close this down. Right, I'm gonna have to close this down now, guys. So this is gonna be a shorter live stream because I've got stuff to do. I do apologize. Well, you know, I don't apologize. I'm not apologizing. No, I am apologizing actually. All right. In fact, Tina is saying, I'm gonna leave this as the last comment. Tina is saying, can you please come to Antarctica? We was all hoping for the rapture, but it never happened. Yeah, I do think everybody's going to go to Antarctica, guys, and have a big exodus out there. Right, guys, I am going to close this down. I appreciate this is short. I've got lots to do. I think I'm going to put the live stream on again while I'm doing the gardening. We'll just have a little chat while I'm in the garden. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, all those things that help this channel grow. And I will see you guys later on this evening around... I hope to be on at 8 or just before 8. Anyway, guys, and I'll see you later. And reality checks, good sir. I welcome your comments. Thank you for putting your comments on there and putting your opinion. And thank you for keeping it. Thank you for not getting aggressive. Anyway, guys, I will see you guys later. And to the TikTok chat, you guys are fantastic.